Hey everybody, Happy New Year! Dylan Bowman here from Freetrail, and in the first 10 days of 2024, we're going to be rolling out our Trail Runner of the Year award. This is our favorite time of year to celebrate all the great athletes and performances that made 2023 a year to remember in trail running, and this year we're super happy to have partnered with Ketone IQ to help bring the award to life. Make sure you check this product out, super cutting edge, futuristic endurance sport nutrition product, ketone supplement guaranteed to give you better focus and help you rip out on the trails. We have exclusive discount code that you can take advantage of here, hvmn.com/freetrail30. That link is also in the description here on YouTube. Enjoy these interviews with some of the best athletes in the world, and thanks for helping us celebrate 2023.
Cool.
Germain, welcome to the podcast. Congratulations on being our number 7 Trail Runner of the Year.
Cool. Thanks, Dylan.
How are you feeling now as we are approaching the end of the year? We are only a couple of days before Christmas. What are you meditating on, and how are you reflecting on 2023?
Yeah, I think I had a great year. I'm really satisfied with what I've done, and currently I'm taking some time off from running because I'm skiing every day and waiting for more snow here in France.
Yeah. So I want to get into some of the details of your season, but before we do, there's been something that I've been desperate for you to explain to me. One of the iconic moments of the season, there were a couple at the finish line of UTMB. One where Zach points at Jim, to give kudos to the champion. And then the second was when you held up the sign that said Allez Serge. Explain the nickname to us who are outside of this inside joke.
Yeah, I think it began like something like 4 or 5 years ago, because there was kind of a French web series where Serge is like a character that always like lies and always like made up stories. And we were always making fun of that when we were training. We were like always like pretending, oh, did you get dropped? No, I was just like lacing my shoes or stuff like that. And then Serge built up, and yeah, I really used Serge as a character. Like, there was Germain, the serious guy, like obsessed with the data, the training, blah blah blah. And when Germain gets a bit too serious, Serge comes on board and brings some lightness to the atmosphere. And yeah, I like better Serge than Germain. So at the finish line, one of my colleagues at a card box with like written Allez Serge, so I took it.
What a great story. So Serge is like your alter ego who maybe has a better sense of humor and doesn't take things as seriously. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel, speaking of taking things seriously, as somebody who's sort of followed your career for a few years now, it seems to me like this was definitely your best season yet as just like a pure trail runner from a performance perspective. Do you view that the same way?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think I was more consistent in my training. I think I got more experience, and maybe this year I was able to pick all the small thing I've been building up, and then get a bit of chance along the way, and more consistent training, like better people surrounding me, and then all of the details worked pretty well in the end.
I remember Katie saying something at the beginning of the year, Katie Scheid, obviously your partner, that you guys had made an intentional decision to do different races. And even though you both ended the season at Diagonal des Fous, you targeted different events outside of that. Was that important to you both having such strong seasons this year, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's definitely like key because there's so much stress going on before races. Even if it's like not big stress, it's like two different people with their own way to manage the stress, and I like to be like more alone in my small bubbles, and so as Katie, and it's hard to like interact when we have this big race coming up, and I feel like it's better to have like each other helping us for like a dedicating race. And yeah, I think it's something that worked pretty well actually. Yeah.
So let's take through some of the performances this year. You started the year with a 5th place at Transvolcania. When we talked about it earlier in the year, you said that it was sort of like ripping the Band-Aid off, getting back in your running shoes after focusing through the winter months mostly on skiing. Talk about how you managed that transition and how you used Transvolcania to set up the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't run from like December 1st to beginning of April. Then I had something like 5 weeks to build up some like running, I would say fitness to go to Transvolcania. Obviously, my general fitness was good with skiing because I had a great season. But yeah, I was. I would say it's not a transition I would advise to everyone because it was pretty like sharp from like zero to like almost like 140K a week. And I was pretty stressed at the time, but it worked. And yeah, I felt good during the race. But yeah, definitely like I think the thing that takes more time is to get this eccentric strength for the downhill, especially at Transvolcania as the last one. But yeah, it proves again that ski mountaineering pretty works for like general fitness as long as the transition works well, and it's always the tricky part. So I think it's a lot of like listening to yourself and be patient in those moments.
Yeah. So then you went to the 90K at Mont Blanc in Chamonix. It seemed like the perfect dress rehearsal for UTMB, which I'm sure was the major goal of the season. I'd love to hear you talk about that race. And specifically, I was just going back and looking at the results, and I noticed that the second place runner, whose name I can't remember now, another Frenchman, I believe, was only like a minute behind you. And to me, it feels like, especially looking further ahead at your season, like at UTMB, that those racing dynamics and having, the competition that's that close probably gives you an opportunity to practice racing skills, racing dynamics, mental strength, things like that. So just tell us how the 90K at Mont Blanc helped set up the great performance at UTMB.
Yeah, I think you sum up pretty well the goal of this race. Actually, it was to yeah like be more efficient on all my like at station stuff, like kind of figure out the nutrition plan. Even if I was not like doing 100 miles, I wanted to try some things more at the end of the race. So I set up all these small details, work with the more or less the same crew that I will have at UTMB, and then definitely like use like the race situation to practice the mental skills that I have been working on whole winter. I use the winter to work on mental skills on the skis actually, and yeah, it was a great place to rehearse the same more or less environment. It's more technical than UTMB, but you get still this like mood around the sham race. So I think it was a good rehearsal. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably gave you a lot of confidence going into UTMB. Speaking of that, the thing I'd love for you to talk about specifically is the moment that you caught Jim in the forest before Champex. Take us into that moment and what you remember from, that critical moment in the race.
Yeah, I think actually when I arrived in La Folie, I saw several people who told me that Jim was like something like 5 minutes ahead. So I think I kind of pushed a little bit too much the pace because I got excited, but I also had this other voice in my head that told me, okay, like keep it easy and I'm gonna make it. So yeah, I think I got a bit excited. I caught up Jim at the end of La Champe climb, and then yeah, I was kind of sure I would just pass Jim and then then I would just focus more on catching Zach. And then, yeah, I don't know, like Jim, like a phoenix, just like took off on the, yeah, on the side of the Champelac. Yeah, the pace was pretty fast at that moment, so I didn't know if I was like, if I had a hard time or if he had like a really high, like a big high. So yeah, I stayed at my pace, and then I realized like 30 minutes later that it catch Zach at the top of Bovine. So I understood that he was like in this crazy mood, and I was more reassured about how I felt. But yeah, he did like such a great section between Champé and Chamonix. So that was a hard moment for me because I thought I would put pressure on Jim, but I really appreciate Jim, and I know Jim, but as competitors, I thought I would like put a bit of pressure on Jim, but actually it went the other way. But it's such a great experience for the future, and now I feel like I'm more ready to those like kind of unexpected things happening when you pass people in ultra.
Dude, you gave him the spark that he needed. So on behalf of all of us American trail running fans, thank you. Thank you for giving Jim that inspiration at Champelac to hit the gas. It was such a classic race. And of course, you were able to finish in third place, still running just over 20 hours and 10 minutes on the classic UTMB course. An astonishing performance from you. And yeah, just, major congratulations on that. It seems like, probably one of the biggest results of your career. Talk about Diagonal des Fous now, because, that's where you and Katie both finished your season. And I recall you both sort of posted maybe on the same day that you were going to be taking on that beast of a race on Reunion Island. Just explain for, those who are unfamiliar, the significance that the Grand Raid has in French trail running culture, and say a few words about your experience there this year.
Yeah, so the Grand Raid it's the other name for Diagonale des Fous. It's, I would say, like if you picture UTMB, it would be pretty different. It would be less professional, more like super technical race. Can be super hot, super cold. You can expect everything at station or not. That like that, I would say, professional as UTMB, and it's why we like this race. It's more like a big adventure. You can arrive to a station and the things are not set up, and people will just laugh and just like sing for you, and you have to keep going. And I think that's kind of the party of the end of the season for the French ultra training community. And that's also why we also did it with Katie at the same time, because there was less pressure and we know that anything can happen. So it was more like, okay, let's do this adventure and see what happens. So for me, I finished UTMB, and then was the first year I think I recover pretty well from this race. So I decided a month later to toe the line at Germain Grangier. And yeah, that was a crazy adventure.
You were second place behind Aurélien Dunant-Palaz, another great French trail runner. Germain, I'd love to go longer form with you soon, so we'll have to schedule a longer podcast. Let's start winding down just by looking ahead towards 2024. And I'm sure people would love to hear, after this major breakthrough season, what you're thinking about, to the extent you're willing to reveal any goals or what your racing calendar looks like for next year.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Yeah. I'm not 100% like sure. I think I will do UTMB again for sure. It has been a lot of like thinking ahead for me, because I really wanted to race in the US. I really wanted to put my name in hard rock again, but I also, it's hard when every year you come back to UTMB and you do better. You just don't know if it's like the best you can do, or maybe you can do a little bit better. So I just want to keep the spiral going and see what I can do next with this race. So I think I'm gonna do UTMB again, and then ahead of that, I have like a lot of like ideas. Probably another race at the end of June. Like I think about Lavaredo right now, because I went to this race and I dropped like 3 years ago, I think. So I wanna do it again.
Right.
And then in the winter, yeah, skiing, and then probably another race in May. But I still have to think about it and see what motivates me.
Amazing. I've been ending all these conversations, and like I told you, I've recorded several of them in the last few days. And it's been so fun. It's been so great just to interact with all the great trail runners. But anyway, I've been asking everybody the same thing, and that is just to recognize somebody on your team who has supported you this year, who maybe exists behind the scenes, but without whom you wouldn't have been able to be so successful. So give a shout out to somebody who's helped you out.
There's a lot of people, but I can name more. I think I've for sure been working with Jason this year. Also, Jason, my coach. Also, Rini, my nutritionist. My family, Katie, my mental coach. Yeah, I think, and also like I would just also thanks all my friends that I go like on ski tour every day, and I think they really helped me to stay motivated and to share those moments of training. I think I like really sharing my trainings more on skiing with people. Running, I prefer to run on my own. But yeah, I think also my friends have a big impact on this year because they were a part of my everyday training. Yeah.
Well, Germain / Serge, congratulations on an amazing 2023 season. And yeah, best of luck here at the end of, or going into 2024, and happy holidays to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Claire Bannwarth, welcome to the show and congratulations on being the #7 trail runner of the year.
Yeah, nice having me, and yeah, it's a nice surprise to be #7. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, this is our first time talking, but we both did run Hard Rock this summer, and I do recall seeing you in the early miles, and then obviously became much more familiar with you throughout the year. You did just an incredible volume of racing. Maybe just to start, how are you feeling physically and mentally after such a huge year?
I'm feeling good, actually. I had a short break of 4 days, and now I am ready for 2024.
Yeah. Don't you still have one more like 24-hour race to do this year? Or did you already do it?
No, I did it 2 weeks ago. So it was my final race.
Final race. Maybe quickly, just tell me a little bit about yourself, how you ended up in the sport, and how you came to focus on like the super long distance races, because I think people will find that really interesting.
I mean, I have been running for all my life. I mean, since I am very little, I run, but I started as in another sport. I was doing I was fencing at a high level. I was top 15 in the world, top something like that.
Wow.
When I was under 20 years. And then I finished my studies and I had to work, and it wasn't very easy to go to the fencing training. So I started just running because it was easier for me to just run before my work or run after my work. And I started running every day because I don't have a car. So I was basically running to work and from work, and it was like 35, 40 kilometers per day, something like that.
Wow.
So I did this for maybe 10 or 15 years. And then I discovered trail running in the mountain. And that's when I really started to do races. And then I discovered backyard races and then 24-hour races. And then I just did my first 200 miles. And then I said, okay, I love 200 miles and I want to do that.
It's amazing. Maybe quickly while we're on that, what's your favorite format, right? Because you do so many multi-day races, you do the backyard races, you do the timed events. Is it the 200-mile distance or that format that you like the most?
Yeah, because you have time to take selfie with other people. You have time to eat. You have time to. You are just. I mean, even 100 miles races, you are always looking at your watch, thinking, "Oh, I am slow. I must go fast." When you do 200 miles races, you just say, "Oh, I have to go fast." After a few days, fast is not there. The speed is not relevant anymore. So
Yeah.
no, I have 200 miles because it's more of it's not just speed, it's also a lot of mental thing, a lot of how to handle problem and avoid problems, and it's great.
Yeah. So I think I counted that you did 25 ultras in 2023, 9 of which took over 2 days. And you've been doing this now for 3 or 4 years in a row. And I think you posted something on your Instagram to the effect of, every year I say I won't do quite as much, and every year I break that promise to myself. So I think what people would love to hear from you is just how you stay healthy and motivated with that type of volume of racing.
I mean, I do races because I love it. So if I am not motivated, I don't go, or I don't start a race. Or if I am injured, I also don't start. And I always have fun. So just and at the beginning of the year, I don't have that much races planned, but it's always, oh, I have a free weekend. I can race here. It's not far, and I end up doing 28 races because I just have the motivation and I have a lot of fun. And it's also a lot. I mean, when I train, I am most of the time very slow. I really, I can't push myself if I don't have a bib. So doing races is also a way for me to be a bit faster, to do some more intensity, to do some quality training, because if I have to choose, I will take 1 hour 30 to do 10 kilometers and not 40 minutes. So,
Yeah.
so doing that much races, it's also a way for me to train.
Amazing. So it's probably hard to pick a highlight from the year after doing so much. I'd particularly love to hear about the Tahoe 200, especially with you starting by stating that the 200-mile distance is your favorite. Obviously, you came over to the US and had an action-packed, adventurous summer, but maybe tell us about the Tahoe 200, which you won, I should say. How did you enjoy Lake Tahoe, that iconic piece of American landscape?
It was amazing. I mean, the landscape was beautiful, and also the aid stations are not quite the same in the US as in Europe. So it was for me, I mean, having burritos and burgers and a lot of Coke with some ice too. It was great, because in Europe
There's no
it's
ice.
not. Yeah, there is no ice and there is no burger, and it's not really the same. So the aid stations were great. Having most of the time more volunteers than runners were also great. I was feeling like a queen, you know. I just had to sit, and three people were taking my flask and giving me food and message or something like that. And I mean, I had a great race. I got lost. I did 25 kilometer more because I really got lost.
Oh my gosh.
So I think I was ahead, like 1 hour ahead of everybody, and then I got lost, and I lost 2 hours or something like that. And then it was like, oh shit, I am so stupid. And having that in mind, I was okay. No, I just push until the end, and I could catch everybody and finished in front. So it was great.
Amazing. Also, tell me about the Colorado Trail, because there was a lot of new FKTs set on the Colorado Trail. You went self-supported in a foreign country on a trail that you've probably never explored yourself, and I think it's illustrative of some, adventurous personality trait that you have. So tell us about that 9-day adventure on the Colorado Trail.
I mean, it was my first FKT, my first time alone for so many days, because I have done long races, like 400 or 500-kilometer races, but I was always in a race with other people and aid station and everything. And when I heard I was taken for hard rock, okay, I said, okay, I don't go to the US just for one race. I will find something to do. And I saw this Colorado Trail and I said, okay, I want to do that. So it was really an adventure, because I have never, for example, sleep alone in the mountain with bears around. I didn't see any of any bears, but I mean, sometime during the night I was hearing some noises, and I was a bit afraid. I mean, I really thought it was some bears, but I think it was chipmunks or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, it was really an adventure. I mean, I had just a plan to do it in 10 days to be able to catch my flight back to France. And I could push to do it in 9 days. And I slept maybe 13 hours in 9 days. So I was really at the end completely a zombie. I was really...
God.
I was completely sleep deprived and like on drugs. I think the last 4 days I was really, I had the huge blisters. I had some chafing, but I didn't feel anything because I was really high because of the sleep deprivation.
Wow.
And I saw, I mean, it was really great to be alone in this wonderful landscapes, and also the Colorado Trail is really remote. I had 2 times where I could grab some food, but most of the time I was alone, and there is no village, and you can see some other people, some other hikers, but nobody were going as fast as I was. So I had no buddies. I mean, but it was really great. It was really a nice adventure, and I definitely want to do more of this stuff because it's really the most amazing thing I did in my life.
Yeah. So you were in the US for what, probably about a month, and you did Hard Rock, the Tahoe 200, and the Colorado Trail. Unbelievable.
I mean, I wanted to have my flight ticket worse, to maximize my flight ticket price.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so obviously we don't have a lot of time to take through all the amazing accomplishments. I would encourage all of our listeners to go just look at your race results from 2023, because it's a good way to get motivated for 2024. Speaking of which, Claire, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who will have heard your name for the first time this season, who are becoming fans of yours. So where can people expect to see you participating next year?
I go back to hard rock, so I will do kind of the same thing. I will go for 1 month. I will do Tahoe again, and I plan to do 2 FKTs. I will try to do the John Muir Trail after Tahoe, and just after that, I will try to do the long trail. And then I will go to hard rock. So it will be a busy month. And in September, I have another crazy thing in mind. I will do UTMB and then do Swiss Peaks. I will have like 10 hours to recover from UTMB because it's kind of the same weekend. And after Swiss Peaks, I will try to do the Tour des Géants, which is also like 2 days after Swiss Peaks. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I will try something really crazy. I hope I will be able to do that. It's really, really crazy this time.
What an amazing personal challenge to set for yourself. And yeah, just so inspiring to see what you were able to do this year. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people excited to see what next year holds for Claire. I've been ending all these interviews with the same final question. That is just asking everyone to give recognition to somebody on their team who supports them, who doesn't get a lot of recognition. So if you could just shout out somebody who's helped contribute to make you the athlete that you are, but who doesn't get enough kudos.
My husband, for sure. He really supports me, and he accepts that I spend a lot of time outside or training, and he's really supportive and don't judge and understand me. So I really want to give him a lot of kudos.
Amazing. Well, Claire, it's great to meet you. We should do a longer interview one of these days. I will definitely see you at Hard Rock. I won't be running myself, but I'll be out there cheering people on and volunteering. So we'll look forward to seeing you there. Take care in the meantime. Congratulations on an amazing season.
Yeah, thank you.